Hello, hello, beautiful souls. So today I'm going to be talking about the 5D consciousness because I do feel that we have to understand a little bit. A lot of my clients always ask me about, are we going somewhere? Are we going to go off planet somewhere else? And I think it is important for us to have a better understanding of what the 5D consciousness is, the 5 dimensional thinking, and the 5 dimensional experience that is available to us here now on this planet at this very moment, already provided and allow for millions of people that are going through their awakening or their spiritual evolution. So I think a lot of people are confused by what some people have been channeling, that we're going somewhere, that we are leaving this planet and we're going to potentially disappear and leave the old planet behind, and so on. And I'm going to um, reference, if I remember the name of that channel, I'm going to reference them because I think they did a really good job with a video, and obviously they have a lot of financial resources where they put a video together that has really nice graphics and everything like that. So it might help you even more than just this conversation. But this conversation is going to be more from the spiritual, my spiritual background, as well as what I have been noticing with clients doing past life regression, quantum healing, and so on. So I'm going to try to blend in everything, including people, as you know, the clients, when they go under, they're in trance mode. So they are providing a lot of information that is not just coming from me or from people that are channeling out there, right? Clients every day, thousands and thousands of clients every day are going into different type of modality, and they're channeling too. So there is a lot of valid information out there from people that have been channeling. And I'm not saying that people are wrong, that perhaps some people will go somewhere else, but the 5D consciousness, when we really think about it, based on what I have been channeling, is about a 5D reality that is available to us here now. It is a mental state where, from that mental state, we have been able to increase our vibration, our light body so much. We have been able to increase and release the density in this material reality that composes most of, like, 90 something percent of our of what makes these bodies very dense. So when we go into 5D, is because we are releasing so much that it gets to the point where the light, the higher self within us, the being of light within us, can fill in all of that density that was released, can be filled in with light, so that you go through in a spiritual evolution in order for you to tap into the 5D. So we all know about the dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul is like the pre-step of becoming awake, right? So before we get there, let me take a step back. When we think of the 5D, those people that are going through their spiritual awakening or spiritual evolution, what they're going to do is that they're going to get to the point where they're very present. They can enjoy the here now. They can tap into higher state of being. They can tap into past lives. They can tap into parallel life, into other realms and dimension, to expand their consciousness. Like, like, that's the 5D. We are expanding the consciousness to the point where our DNA is being activated to be able to have access to things that we were able to do before. In order to do that, one of the first things that we have to do is that we have to release the things that are keeping us down in a low vibrational state. We talked about low vibrational state for many of the videos here, and I think it got to the point where I was feeling like my goodness, when can I be done with this? Because I don't want to talk about low vibration state anymore. But the reason why that has been coming up, which I didn't know at that moment, was that we have to release the stress, because the stress causes a lot of low vibration thinking. We have to release the past childhood traumas, the inner wounded child traumas. We have to release relationship patterns. We have to release patterns within ourselves that are keeping us down. So let me give you an image of what this looks. And this is an exercise that you can do at home so that you can figure out for yourself what is holding you down. So this is you here. And let's say you want to get to 5D. You want to be able to feel amazing, to feel free, to feel joyful. Very simply think about, this is you trying to fly, like the Phoenix Rising, flying up in the air. But then you have things that are coming down here, and these are weights. What is the weight? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Most people have at least 5 things that we can automatically think of that are weighting us down. You know, for me at the beginning was a lot of spiritual doubts. Still now, to be honest with you, I want to know the secrets of things that sometimes we cannot know because it's supposed to be a secret. And I get into this rabbit hole where I try to find the answers, and that takes me into those rabbit holes where I feel like I'm never going to be able to come out of those things because I'm trying to go so deep, and it's sometimes confusing and so on. So another one could be an ex relationship that, sometimes I'm like, wow, I didn't realize that that thing that happened in that relationship was still affecting me here now. Sometimes are obvious things like relationship issues with parents, with siblings, with boyfriends, girlfriends, friends, business partners, even your clients or whoever it is. Like, let's say that you're a lawyer and you have a client that triggers you. Well, that client is triggering you for a specific reason. So any of those things that are weighting you down, that are keeping you here, it could be the stress of the money, making sure that I make enough money, making sure that do I feel like a good parent, and so on. So any of these weights are things that are keeping you in a very stuck energetic state. To release these traumas, you have to do something. You have to go through the consciousness of actively finding what is the real problem behind that thing, and bring it back to the beginning the most that you can. And sometimes if you're very gifted, you could go into past lives that are affecting you here now because of that issue that come from the past. So this is what I mean. This is you here now, and I'm going to break this down for you because I think a lot of people are not understanding. There is no time, there is no space. Only in this 3D reality, in this 3D dimension, we have time, and we see time as 1, 2, 3, as a consequential, as a sequence. But in reality, time doesn't exist in the higher planes. And you know how you can know this for sure is because when you are meditating, when you're in the Akashic records, when you are tapping into other dimensions, time disappears. When people are under regression, hypnosis, they think they were there for maybe 15, 20 minutes, and they don't realize they were there for 2, 3 hours. So time doesn't exist. This has been proven by quantum physics already. So we're not going to argue that. But what I want to show you is, because time doesn't exist, this is what happens. We are collapsing. When we get to 5D, we are collapsing the time. So what happened in a past lives, these are past lives. oops, past lives. And now let's say you were a native here. Maybe here you were a soldier. Maybe here you were a nurse. Maybe here you were a god. Maybe here you were a servant or a slave. Maybe here you, I don't know, you were homeless. Maybe here you were very rich. Maybe here you were very sick. And all of these different lives, maybe here you were a monk or a priest. And all of these lives, what they're doing is that they're existing at the same time, including this one here now, is existing at the same time. So what happened is the native, if you die, or if you're going through a traumatic experience in any of those lives, the ones that are very traumatic are going to bring the trauma into this soul here now, because this is you. All of this is you. This is your soul having different experiences. We talked about this with the soul split, with the Awakening the Healer program. And I think there's some videos on YouTube where we talk about the soul splitting. Well, in reality, it's not that it's splitting. It's doing much more than that. It's existing all at the same time. And what happened is the monk or the nurse may have, let's say, somebody with COVID, a nurse in that suffer with COVID issues, a lot of patients, maybe even got COVID herself, in another reality of who you are, because remember, it's splitting, but at the same time, it's experiencing itself at the same time. So what happened? The trauma from those lives come to affect this piece of your soul, because you're all connected. All of these lives are connected by the soul, the higher self. And because it is connected to the higher self, the soul, right? Those pieces of yourself that are in other existence, that are living a life as a nurse, as a soldier, as a native, as a servant, as a slave, as a rich person, as a business person, as a sick person, as a doctor, whatever it is, whatever the trauma is affecting the person, the soul in that life, is information that naturally gets shared with you here now, because you're part of the soul. You're part of your soul. This is your soul that we're talking about. The trauma causes an energetic message that is shared automatically with the soul and affects the same area where it's being affected in that life. I hope this makes sense, because I know it may sound very convoluted, but it's actually very simple. The priest may have lost a child, and now his suffering is because he believed in God so much, but why did God take the child away? Why did he get punished if he was a good man or a good woman, a good priestess? So that confusion may be affecting you here now. And therefore, you might be feeling a lot of confusion and a lot of pain and suffering for things that you have no idea that existed. But your soul knows it, and it is being manifested within your physical, because your soul is connected to your physical body. It is, I mean, obviously, it's very convoluted, but it's very simple at the same time. If you can grasp this concept, it can help you understand how past lives and parallel realities truly affect you, no matter if it's 2,000 years ago, or if it was 150 years ago, or if it is happening in the future. It could be happening in the future, because within the four and higher dimensions, there is no time. So sometimes we have people that are in a session that are coming from the future to provide information about something that is happening that is affecting the person here now. I hope I'm making some sense. Please let me know in the comments before I continue, because I want to make sure that if there is something that I can explain a little more, that I can do that now before I continue. And I'm going to keep this very briefly too. I'm not going to be trying to not do very long videos whenever I can. So that is more doable for me. So please let me know in the comments real quick if it's making sense before I continue, please. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to assume that it is making sense. So why is this interesting? Because when you go into, just like, I'm going to give you another concept just to make sure that you understand. So this is you. This is you. And you are feeling very depressed. You have no idea why you feel so depressed. Or let me give you one from this week. I had a client, he was very envious of his brother. Jealousy, envious is a very low vibration. He couldn't control it. He just couldn't understand why he was so jealous of his brother. So the envy sent a signal in the higher planes, in the 4D. And this signal is like waves. As you guys know, frequency, vibration looks like waves. So this envy is shared in the astral plane. And when you share in the astral plane, those entities that are vibrating in the same frequency of envy receive the phone call. Hey, this person so-and-so is feeling envious. And it's a very low vibration feeling because this person is to the point that anything is possible to get rid of this brother, to make sure that he is better than his brother and so on. So envy, the signal is like a phone call. Hi, I am in the astral plane looking for anyone that can relate to envy. And then you have many entities that may say, oh, I'm available. So whoever receives the phone call first or can get there is going to come in and unite now from this envy to you, to whoever is making the phone call. So you make the phone call and you say, I am envious of my brother. I'm jealous. And the entity, depending on the frequency, each emotion has a very specific frequency. And we talked about that in previous videos. So all you have to do is go back to those videos and you will see that envy is one of the lowest frequency, like guilt, shame, fear, not even fear so much as shame and guilt, and and anger is one of the worst ones. So even if you're angry too because your brother has more financial means than you do and you're envious. So now you also make a phone call that says, I am also looking, I already have envy here, but I'm so angry. I need somebody else to come and join me. And this one answers to, and now you have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 10 different entities that are resonating at your same frequency to keep you at a low frequency. So just like we have this, that is a natural, it doesn't have to be, you could have attachments from thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, or current, these modern life attachments, people that just died recently, because the frequencies share in the astral planes. It's not that you have to be at a specific place for this to happen. You could be from your home, from your bedroom, from wherever, and the phone call is made. Same thing happens with the past lives. The only difference is that your higher self is going to say, this person is, if this person doesn't understand, we can break the person by giving them too much. So then what the higher self says is, I'm going to make sure that they can only do 3 of these things this year because they need to be able to deal with it once and for all and be done with it. So it's going to pick three of those things that are most appropriate for you to be able to handle it. And then maybe next year or the second half of the year, you get more. So it is like an onion, like layers and layers of what it needs to be done. Is always going to be another thing for you to heal because as long as we are alive, we have to heal something. But the thing is that sometimes the layers get deeper and deeper. And what you will notice is the more that you heal, the more material reality challenges, then you're going to tap into the next level of spiritual traumas that you have dealt with, other realities trauma that you need to heal through in order for you to make space for more light within you to assist within you. Because if there is no, if you don't increase your vibration, then you cannot tap into the spiritual 5D dimension, which is what it is. The 5D is more of a spiritual dimension where you become the ultimate manifestor and you create whatever you want here. Now, by the time that you get to that point, a lot of the things that you're going to be creating has nothing to do with the material realm because you go through a process of realization that this is just the matrix. So you no longer have such a dense desire to have material things. So your ambitions change. Doesn't mean that you're going to be poor or that you're not going to want money or anything like that. It just means that you're going to be more conscious about what you choose to manifest in your life. So that it's not just going through the motions because it's part of going to sleep, waking up, going to work, and then repeating over and over. So the 5D is non-physical. It's a spiritual reality that only those that have gone through a spiritual awakening can tap into it. It is meant to be that way because the 5D is basically happening right here for a lot of people already. A lot of us are tapping into 5D and we're not in a different planet. We're here. The challenge is that there's always going to be things that we need to heal in order for us to increase our vibration. And a lot of people get very confused with this because they think, oh, if I heal this thing, that's all. That's all I'm going to be able to do, or that's all that's going to make me happy and wealthy, and I'm going to get financial abundance and this and that. And they don't realize is a lot of the times, for example, with a lot of people that come to me for financial abundance, what they're really telling me is they're saying that they want to be in 5D, but they're so worried about the 3D that they're so worried about the financial state. Therefore, what they're really telling me though, when you really go to the root and to the root and to the root and the real origin of that is that they had issues in childhood with self-worthiness or in a past life with something that had to do with money and is carrying over and over and over. So by the time that you get to 5D and this beautiful way of living where you can manifest and have things and really live from a different consciousness, you increase the amount of light frequency within you to the point where the lower density frequency, some people might call it the reptilian in us, some people might call it the density of who we were at one point, or whatever. When I'm not even going to get to that, I'm just focusing on giving you the basics. The more you awaken the light body, the light within you, the light bodies become more and more activated, more and more bright, so that you can then travel throughout the cosmos to expand your consciousness because it's a spiritual reality. You can go to different places all the time. That's why you can go in your meditation and your dreams to different places and experience different things. And a lot of healing can happen within that. So it is a way of living, a way of thinking, a way of manifesting. It's no, in my book, it's not that we're going to go somewhere else and leave the other poor people behind. What I really do believe is that the 5D comes in point when we have to awaken so that other people, as a result of our awakening, can benefit from that. Because a lot of people have been trapped here in the wheel of karma. And our job for a lot of us, these spiritual warriors, are here to make a difference and to wake up their family and communities. So how can we leave them behind if we're here to help? Like, you know, how can we leave the planet that we came to save so that we can go and have fun and live peacefully ever after, when we're supposed to be here for humanity? If we put two and two together, hopefully, that can give you a different perspective of what is the 5D consciousness really is. Because of course, in order for us to increase the light frequency within us, we have to heal the past life traumas, relationship traumas, our own wounds that we have created there, our whole limiting beliefs that we have created. We might change friends, and even family members might go, and because they're no longer at that frequency. But those that are willing to help those that are not there, if they're being if they're willing to receive the help, these family members are going to be able to raise their frequency. Now, there are people that you will never be able to save, and understanding that it's not your job to change and make them want to change is key. Because the person has to be willing, free will again, the person has to be willing, by with their own decision making, to make the decision that they want to heal. You cannot make them do anything. Also, another thing that comes out of living in the 5D is that you will notice that yeah, of course, you become more empathic. And that's why so many people are like, oh my God, I'm not super empathic. Yes, because you are awakening. You are awakening, therefore you're going to feel other people's, because your job is to be able to know what other people are experiencing and so on, so that you can understand yourself. At first they become a mirror, and then they're there so that you can figure out what to do with those abilities. But then also, you know who to stay away from. That's another lesson of that. Another thing, another major lesson that comes with that is learning to trust that the other person will be ready whenever they're ready, not when we want them to be ready. That has been challenging for me too, because I want everybody to do it. But I had gone through a major process of realizing it is at their own pace. We cannot make them do anything, because what we will do is that we will compromise ourselves in the process of doing that. Because if those people are not willing to fight their shadows and their inner demons and their traumas, we're going to take what doesn't belong to us, and then we're just going to add more to the weight that we carry. And our job so far is to release the baggage. So now we're going to put pressure on ourselves in order for us to help someone that doesn't want to be helped. So we have to be willing to trust them, to realize that they're going to make the decisions when they're ready to make the decision, not when we want them to make the decision. In the 5D consciousness, we also become a little more assertive, because one of the things that I have noticed over the years is that when we tap into our own divinity, we understand really who we are. Not like, oh my goodness, I was a god or goddess. Not like that, but wow, I am part of source, and this divinity within me, this light within me is so powerful that nothing of the dark can touch me. So I'm no longer afraid. But not only that, we become more sure about what is our truth. You guys know that I'm I'm against the animal sacrifice. That is one of my truths. If I change tomorrow, because it changed, my truth changes because I decide to change that, not because somebody else is going to make me change that. When I started getting revelation messages about the animal sacrifices, to me, I was very confused, because I'm like, oh my God, but I want to continue with my initiations and, what I was doing and so and so. And then I had to be okay with my own truth. And to be okay with my own truth, part of that being okay was for me to share the message so that I can trust in my own truth. trust in my own understanding of what my spirit team is communicating to me, and pass the message to whoever also had the same feelings. Because through that process, just through that video that I published last year, I think it was, a lot of people contacted me and said, I'm going through the same thing. And later, months later, or like 3 months ago or something like that, an elder comes out and talks about the animal sacrifices, and then there was another person that was also talking about, and I'm like, see, a lot of people are channeling and receiving the same message, and some of these people have been practicing for 30, 40 years. So for them, it was even more traumatic than for me, because I only went through one animal sacrifice where I almost was like, oh my God, I didn't know this thing was going to happen. Imagine those people that sacrifice thousands of animals and then they get a message like that, how traumatic that could be. So we become more assertive with our own truth. We become more assertive with our own purpose, to the point where we know what we want, what we need, what's going to make us happy, what's going to make us joyful. For me to experience this moment with you now and be present, it wasn't easy. It took many years of me fighting through my own traumas and issues. And I continue to heal, because trust me, there is no one that does more sessions than anyone, anyone else that I know. Like, I am always doing, scheduling my sessions with other practitioners for my own sessions, because I believe in it, because I know it works. Like, I can tell you it works. That's how crazy it is. And I didn't believe it at the beginning, but going through the process of meditation, contemplation, talking to my spirit team, practicing my 21 divisions, going through my quantum healing sessions, past life regression, all of that combined has been extremely powerful and beautiful, to get to the point where I can have this conversation and be present with you here now. I don't know who you are, who's out there, but I know that whoever finds the video, whether it is 5, 10, 20 people, are going to be able to feel that energy and connect with my energy through the process of this conversation, because it is coming from the heart space. It's not coming from here. So I think, at this point, I'm going to leave it here for now. I thank you for being here. I know that the higher consciousness is shifting our way of thinking to receive mental clarity, to be able to expand our consciousness, to be able to travel, to be able to tap into our gifts, and so many magical things that, it's just the beginning of what is possible in this new reality. So I thank you for being here, and I hope to see you on the next one. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful weekend.